our special Sangha with a special speaker today, all the way from Denver, Colorado. We have a very dear servant of Sri Radha Govinda, very dear servant of Srila Prabhupada, Her Grace Nidra Devi. Welcome, Prabhu. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna. My obeisances to everyone.
Thank you. She will be speaking about developing inner strength. And this is such an apt topic for something that I'm going through, and I'm sure you can all relate to it. I cannot get started if I introduce Nidra Prabhu, because she is the pillar, the foundation of the yatra. Everybody I spoke to were glorifying her to such an extent that I was just like, I'm falling short of words. You can watch some of the interviews we did with her on our channel. She shares about her story, her connection to Srila Prabhupada, and how she came to Krishna consciousness, leaving her very qualified, very, let's say, professional life of being an amazing teacher. She was working in Canada when she met Srila Prabhupada and she joined ISKCON. So she is one of those rare examples of somebody who gave 100% without a tinge of doubt, without a tinge of hesitation. And thank you so much for giving us your Sangha. And one of the things I must highlight when I introduce her is about her service, relentless, dedicated service to Sri Radha Govinda in Denver. These are the deities that Srila Prabhupada installed, am I right?
He wasn't physically present, but he knew about the installation, approved the installation, and received pictures of Chotarada Govinda, and kept one really beautiful picture of them on one of his desks in Vrindavan when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan at Krishna Balaram Mandir.
Yeah, and I highly recommend. We will also attach the link to the other video of Nidra Prabhu, where she shares her experience of being with Srila Prabhupada, about her calling to come to Denver, etc. You can watch it later. And without delaying further, Nidra Prabhu, over to you.
Thank you so much, Raghavinda Dasi, and all in Vaishnavi ministry, all the devotees. Thank you for your services and all that you do. It's wonderful. Nama Om Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayan Rupa Karamayandarati Swa Parantikam. So I'd like to humbly beg the blessings of their lordships here, Radha Govinda, and our Parampara Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees to speak Krishna consciously. And I really appreciate your time. So I was thinking about how so many problems arise when we're trying to at first get involved in Krishna consciousness, and we have other aspects or phases of life that we're dealing with. So when I was first coming in contact, early 70s, I was in Montreal. I'm actually from metropolitan New York, the New Jersey side, near New York City. But I was living in Canada as a landed immigrant at the time. And I was working there and also going to graduate school. I wanted to become teacher and start some credits towards master's degree and things like that. So there's a lot of seeming obstacles, we would call maybe problems, to engage in spiritual life while you're working, while you're a student, or whatever your activities are. Maybe you have a family. So trying to go through that path, that phase of life where you you're trying to attain knowledge of Krishna consciousness, practice some Krishna consciousness. At the same time, you're involved in studies and you're involved in trying to set up a future career. There's so much going on. But the one thing I found that helped me endure through that was the practice of course, chanting. And I began to study Ishimad Bhagavad Gita, and that was really giving me a lot of support. And I could see that when you engage in chanting, then everything becomes more clear. You feel Krishna's presence, you can feel Prabhupada's presence, and you understand that what you need in order to be a student or prepare for a career, whatever you're doing, that kind of intelligence to do it in a Krishna conscious way, that comes through the blessings of the spiritual master and, of course, the Lord. So I got the realization that to be the best student and the best future professional that I could be would depend on this spiritual practice. And it gives you the impetus, the motivation, even though it seems like, wow, this is a big obstacle or problem to deal with all of this at once. But by putting the foundation of sadhana bhakti first, especially the chanting of the holy names, then because Krishna is time, then time just expands in the way that Krishna allows it to. And I was finding that it seemed as if I had more time, or that the time I was using for studies and preparation for career were that time was more efficiently organized with the idea that I want to do all this for Krishna's pleasure. And so because of this consciousness, which was a blessing from Srila Prabhupada, it wasn't a consciousness that I had so much previously, but with his blessings and the blessings of the Maha Mantra, I could see that a time where Krishna's, energy used in his service becomes very friendly. you you see, wow, I have the time if I get up early enough, of course. If I can go to bed at a decent hour, get up early enough, and not deprive myself of necessary rest, but get enough rest. And then see that by making the sadhana and the japa the foundation of the day, then the student life and the preparation for professional life was no longer such a big problem. It was really manageable. So that was a wonderful experience to see that, time belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. And if everything is his, should be used in his service, if I can learn how to use it properly, then I can navigate in this world as a student, a professional, or a family person, or whatever I might happen to be doing. So that opened up the positive understanding that you can do all of this. You can have your spiritual life, your sadhana, you can have your time for studies, you can have time for preparing for the career, and then when you have your career, if that's what you're doing, you will be able to, with Krishna's grace, organize all of this. It is possible. I was thinking that it's a lot, but because I was doing some chanting, then I could understand that life is starting to open up. The holy names are opening everything up, like a lotus flower is opening up. And this is far beyond my own intelligence, my own mental platform, my own understanding. This is an understanding that is very deep. So I felt I was able to endure the busyness of student life and preparing for career, and then eventually career, with this experience of taking shelter of what you would call first things first, or the foundation, the sadhana. And Krishna, he has his hand in everything. So he has a hand in the life of the devotee. Seeing the devotee is trying, and they may be really struggling. Like, it is a struggle. It seems very, very problematic to balance so many things going on in life. And it almost, your mind sometimes says it's impossible. It tries to say like that. But you know that whatever Krishna and spiritual master want you to do is possible by their blessings and their grace. And that comes, or at least it was starting to come to me through following the instructions of and doing some chanting, trying to take shelter of Bhagavad Gita. So that opened up a world of understanding that, yes, you can go through this, you can get through this and do what you need to do to begin a full life of Krishna consciousness. And at the same time, you can take up your studies and your profession. But as it went on during the teaching years, it was a bit much to endure in certain ways, because I didn't really have association where I was teaching. And so that seemed to be a problem. Another problem was that teaching in a public school, at least at that place and time, was not conducive to teaching the essence of life. And my understanding as a student, like all through my teen years and in school and in university, that life is meant for understanding what is the essence of the very essence of life, and how to lead a life based on that essence. In other words, practicing the essence and sharing it with others. At first, of course, I didn't know about bhakti, and at least the terminology. Coming from a Christian family, I understood the teachings of, to some degree, of Christ, and understanding that those teachings were based on love and mercy, compassion, and tolerance. And I understood, so, okay, this is like an essence, but there's an essence to the essence. In other words, there's something more. And I kept searching for that. So by the time I'm teaching in my early 20s and teaching in a school where, you don't bring up religion unless, you're in a history class and something like that. So I was teaching at elementary level, 6 and 4, those grades. So, because that was a bit of a problem, you can't really share so much in that way. The way for me to share was just chant Hare Krishna in my mind and my heart constantly all day. And I did find that was influencing the students. Just having the mantra on a subtle level influenced these students to be more calm, more peaceful, and even to be thinking in terms of some God consciousness. I noticed that when they would do their compositions, sometimes they would write about God. So, but still, I was thinking this is really like a problem here because I have what I now appreciate as the expansion of the essence that I had learned about as a Christian child, the expansion coming through Srila Prabhupada's books, and the expansion that results from chanting the holy names. So that was what needed to be communicated and taught to students, but you can't do that public school. So that was it was really hard in a sense to endure being there teaching and not teaching, you could say. In other words, knowing what they need to know, but not being able to fully teach it. There's ways you can um, share, morality and different things, uh, different higher concepts, but to really share openly, this is what was becoming the problem. I couldn't do that. And that was very much disturbing. And to endure that was only possible by really taking shelter of my practice and continuing to pray, a prayer that had gone on pretty much all through my life, like, please show me how to understand this essence and practice it and communicate it. So how can I do this? And it seemed uh, impossible in that situation, almost, not quite fully, but almost impossible. So that I would say was a number one problem at that time. So through my prayers to Srila Prabhupada as a teacher, then I was able to go through a year and a half to endure that situation in a way where I was preparing for my future Krishna consciousness. That was what helped me go through it, was that, okay, this isn't like the all in all of life, this particular time and place and particular phase of my career, not, the all in all. It's temporary career phase, and I'm preparing for an eternal career, so to speak, Sanatan Dharma, eternal occupation. So, how to endure this temporary time period when you don't feel like you can fully express yourself. You have so much you want to share, and you're in this situation where it's, if you're going to be as a professional in that kind of situation, there's not a lot that you can do unless you are prepared to, well, be fired in that situation anyway. So I had told Radha Govindadasi that, in short, Prabhupada kind of woke me up one night in the middle of the morning, around 2 in the morning, and just began to speak to me. I had never physically met Prabhupada at that point. I was studying Bhagavad Gita and trying to apply it, and as best as I could, in different ways as a teacher. But it was very, very, very superficial, I guess. And so Prabhupada was telling me, to quit my job. And that was really a surprise because I wanted to at least continue for the school year, and by the summer break, then I would quit, give notice, and start to move on. So it became really problematic being in the middle of the school year, and here's Prabhupada, he's coming at this very kind of mystical way, and I knew it was him because I just, in my heart, I knew this is Srila Prabhupada telling me what to do. Why? Because I'd been praying and praying and praying and praying what to do. What should I do? That really helped me a lot to go through that time period, all that praying. Of course, the Maha Mantra, praying for service and um, pure devotional, an instrument for you, and but a lot of personal prayer to Srila Prabhupada, just show me what I'm supposed to do here because I'm in this situation and I really need your help to go further in this um, way of my life at this phase. So I took that seriously, and I did quit in the middle of the year. And principal was quite disturbed, but what made me able to go through all of that with his scorn and so many things, it's like being Joan of Arc or something. You're going to be put to the stake. So what helped me to go through that was I'd been studying the Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada was commenting so nicely on that verse where Krishna is telling Arjuna to surrender. Don't worry about it. Don't fear about it. Just, I'll take on, your sinful reactions. I'll help you. I'll take care of things. Don't worry. Don't fear. Don't hesitate. So, so that really spoke to me. And so I was able to endure the scorn of the higher ups in the school system. And then, but others appreciated that I had a calling. The superintendent of schools, I talked to him, and he was raised a Catholic, and he understood that you can have a calling in life, and to go to another phase of your spiritual practice. And he understood that. The superintendent understood that. The principal didn't. So I had to endure all the local scorn. And but there was some support also amongst some of the teachers. And so what helped me to get through that was basically Prabhupada coming and encouraging me to quit my job, and knowing that as he put in his purport in the Bhagavad Gita to that verse 1866, you just you don't worry, you don't hesitate, you don't fear, you surrender. And you may not be fully surrendered, but you're in the surrendering process, so Krishna will help you. And that was uh Prabhupada's ecstasy from that purport that gave me support. I felt really supported by that. That helped me get through the rest of my time preparing to leave the job and go on to some kind of ashram living. And I didn't know where in the world I would be going, what temple or what farm or anyway. So I had to endure a lot of questions like what's going to happen? Where should I go? It's very problematic when you don't have something set and you only have a certain time period to take care of things, and you need to make a good decision, but you're you're just kind of in this unknown space. But then I thought, well, Prabhupada's giving us his purports in the Gita. He's talking about how Krishna tells Arjuna to surrender. So if you keep chanting and praying and whatever you're doing, if you're offering that as an offering to Krishna, then that's like the surrendering process, and he will help. So that really got me through that time period because I felt like even though I don't have the support of devotees physically, I felt the support of Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara and even devotees, because Prabhupada's family and Prabhupada and ISKCON, they're all so many wonderful devotees. So taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada at that time for me was like taking shelter of his family and, taking shelter of him. I understood him to be my spiritual master, my spiritual father. So his being by my side at all times like that gave me the strength to endure that really rocky time. And then finally, I got indications from, praying and praying for signs where to go, that I should go to Denver. So I spoke more about that on the other interview. But to go on to situations that required endurance and inner strength, I'll move ahead to when I got the understanding I should go to Denver, and I wound up in the ashram in Denver. And at that time, there was a major push for distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, and of course also Harinam Sankirtan and prasadam distribution. And there was so much push for the book distribution. So as a new devotee, I was going out once a week. Everyone would go out once a week. And that's how I started learning to distribute the books. And the so-called problem to endure at that time was that I really got a taste for that, for book distribution, but I had other services that I was doing at the temple. And to me, it seemed like an obstacle in the way, although all services are absolute, but it seemed like this is my problem right now. I really feel Prabhupada calling me to be full-time distributing books, but I have the duties given to me by the temple authorities. And so it felt like a quandary, what to do. So then I realized that there's things you can express in confidence, because we used to read from a Nectar of Instruction, and Rupa Goswami would explain that there's loving exchanges with devotees, and you can open up your heart and inquire from devotees and try to eh, open your heart up as you're inquiring to the devotees in confidence that this is my situation. So I felt like, oh, I have this situation here. It's seeming like an obstacle to what I feel like in my heart I should be doing. And I feel like Prabhupada wants me to distribute books full time. So at first, temple president, he was saying, well, all the services are absolute. And so just be satisfied for now. And it was a test. So you have to endure these tests with tolerance and some enthusiasm and confidence. As Rupa Goswami says, okay, so confident that in time things work out. Be patient, right? Be able to speak confidentially to your uh, devotee authorities, mentors, and tell them how you feel and ask them what do they feel and what would they suggest, and um, try to work things out in a devotional way, you know, have a devotional consciousness, not really demanding anything or getting frustrated, but just seeing that, Krishna has his timing. He has a plan for everyone. He has his timing. So it was a test, test of patience and confidence and tolerance and putting up with the mind, right? Wanting to jump right into a new phase of life and service, but in order to endure that situation, then I had to have the faith that things come according to the will of the spiritual master and the Lord at the proper time. So then that's actually what happened. And I could see that even if it didn't happen, uh, if you pray and uh, fix your heart in such a way that you really want to do what is the will of the spiritual master and the Lord, then that will be revealed. And even if it's not what you planned on, still, it'll be revealed in time. So that helps you to endure these waiting periods of, when is, Krishna gonna like make something known to me that this is going to happen or that's going to happen, or when are the temple authorities going to try to, help me out in this situation, and when will my consciousness, my mind be peaceful enough to be convinced about what I need to do, especially if I'm given an instruction and I don't really want to do that or didn't plan to do that. So just to be ready to please the Lord and the spiritual master, to have that as the topmost appreciation for the situation. Okay, you have to endure the time period, it's almost like you're in between. You want this plan, but you're in this phase, and what's the next phase if there is one? And so you're in between. So you have to try to endure that through that patience, that confidence, right? That tolerance. And there's a really, really special verse in the 10th canto that helps us to go through and endure. And that is in 10th canto, chapter 14. This is Brahma's prayers to Lord Krishna, and it's text 8. It's a famous verse. You might recognize Tate Nukampam Susamik Shamano. And the translation is, my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So here we have to go through so many situations, and we have to be very, very tolerant. We have to wait, like it says in the translation, one who earnestly waits for you, the Lord, to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds. So in Krishna consciousness, it's a process of purification. And a lot of our problems that we're trying to work with come up, especially on the mental platform, where we're getting token reactions from past misdeeds. And as a devotee, this is all being um, worked out by Krishna's hand. He's like molding the reactions, so to speak, or what we have to deal with to help us come to a more advanced level. Like it says here, we're undergoing a rigid purificatory process, which it might appear like, it's a suffering state. Oh, I have to endure this. It's like so much mental, difficulties, suffering, so much problem. But it seems like that, but which is, in fact, a curative treatment. What we're going through is actually a curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord. So when you see that something's personal and from a loving person, it's very much easier to endure what you're going through. And if you have so many seeming problems, of course, birth, death, disease, and old age are the real problems. And so we need to engage in devotional service to ultimately overcome those main problems. But as we are going through the process of bhakti yoga, there's so many things that seem like obstacles, problems, and difficulties. And there's, I'm going through purification and it can be really intense. And it seems like, regular suffering, although it's not. It's really what it is you're becoming cured. You're getting a treatment from the loving hand of your spiritual master and the Lord. It seems like a heavy punishment or a heavy bout of suffering. And so you could use those words, but to endure it, you really benefit a lot by seeing the loving hand, seeing the care and seeing that, yeah, it's a curative treatment I'm going through. It's like Krishna and Guru and devotees, they really care. They care that I get rid of this material disease. They care that I'm like a cancer patient going through the treatment. They care to help me, get over the disease. So when you see it like that, when you see it from the loving, compassionate, merciful side of the Lord, rather than, wow, wrath is coming down and punishment. It's a type of punishment in a positive sense. And you can say, maybe you don't want to say the word punishment, but you can say, yeah, this is a loving hand curative treatment that's helping me to go through, to endure a lot of obstacles. So finally, when I was able to get onto full-time book distribution, then some obstacles of and problems of health resurfaced. You know, I had some health problems before coming to the ashram. And so how to endure these health problems, right? And Prabhupada said, you know, first things first, you have to take care of your health first, because if you don't have the health, then it would be really hard to do your sadhana and your service and like that. And, you know, disease, fire, and debt, you got to take care of those things right away. So then to endure through all of that was really a challenge, but to be able to see that even when your regular service and your regular activities are a bit curbed for a while, you can still be Krishna conscious or practice to try to be Krishna conscious, and you can still hear and chant. And then you can really pray to become a pure instrument, however Krishna wants. You know, you want to be a pure instrument. You're not sure exactly what's going on because your health is so compromised, but you just pray that, you know, if you so desire, please help me to be your instrument and active in Krishna service if you desire. And we used to pray like that because Prabhupada told us when he was sick, you know, you can pray to Krishna, my Lord, if it's your desire, please cure Srila Prabhupada. So we would think, oh, okay, we can pray for something like that. If it's the Lord's desire, then he can help me through this. So that was really important for enduring problems of health. Seeing the importance, hearing Prabhupada's instructions on health, seeing that it's not like we're, you know, some of us anyway, I'm not a Goswami that I can, you know, be on some kind of supernatural level. I'm still in this body and I'm dealing with health problems. So what can I do in order to become the instrument that Prabhupada and Krishna want me to be? And so I had to patiently go through recuperation with not just sitting around, but trying to utilize the time as best as possible and hearing and chanting. And then when I could get up on my feet again, try to go out and do a little bit of local engagement with, you know, on foot, book distribution, and then you know, every day, like really making it an effort, like part of my service to restore the health and get back on my feet properly. So that became like a phase of service, you could say. So that helped me go through it, helped me to endure, helped me to see that the inner strength is there because of Prabhupada's mercy. You know, he gives us the proper understanding of Krishna consciousness through his books. And he gives us the understanding that even with all the difficulties that the body goes through, that you're the eternal servant of the servant of the servant. And that really gives you that inner strength. You know, you are beyond the body, even though you have to take a phase now in your, you know, service to get healthy. So that inner understanding of who you are beyond the body, as well as taking care of Krishna's property, the body, at the same time helps you endure and get through those kind of difficulties. And then also too, during service, when I was back on my feet again, there's a lot to go through when you're dealing with the public all the time. You know, there's what are external problems like harassment. We went through a lot of problems of harassment when we were distributing, and different groups at the airport or other places would try their best to stop the book distribution. And it was an amazing time period. To endure that particular problem took the strength of knowing that, Prabhupada wants this so much. He wants this book distribution. He wants Krishna consciousness spread all over to everyone, every town and village. So even though you have all these problems with these harassments, you have to, endure through this. You have to go on. This is something everybody's going to have to do if they want to push on the spiritual master's mission, right? The disciples of Christ had to do that. Disciples of Lord Chaitanya, Haridas Thakur, and everyone had to endure so many things. So we had to go through court cases, and we had to be really demeaned in the public, and it was a very humbling experience. In order to go through the court case, our lawyer, wonderful lawyer, constitutional lawyer, he told us what you have to do is you have to endure the harassment for a certain period of time so that you can get enough evidence to bring to the court to show that your constitutional rights, First Amendment rights, are being violated. So for it was like from not quite a year, and so for part of that time to just every day go to the airport, try to distribute to people while these people are breaking up your sales, harassing you and causing a major fuss. It's so painful when there's people who want to take Prabhupada's books and then there's people who interfere. Of course, everybody has their free will, right? But this kind of interference was so much harassment that even people who were very favorable, they thought maybe violence is going to erupt. They really didn't want to be part of it. It seemed like a dangerous situation. So in other words, we had to keep showing on video and audio and our own affidavits that we would write every day, how we were being harassed. And then finally, we won. We won this case because it was really truly a violation of First Amendment rights, freedom of religion in a public place, speech, religion, and like that. So it was a lot to go through. And really, because of Prabhupada's great desire and all that he would say about book distribution and preaching and the suffering of the souls, gave us the inner strength to go through this hellish time period with being out there and constantly hounded and harassed, just so we could accumulate enough evidence. And it was like day after day after day, month after month, for a while anyway, to have enough to present to the court. Of course, presenting Prabhupada's books as well. as Prabhupada said, show the judge. And so then when I was in the final hearing that I was involved with, it was very interesting. The judge was saying on this date and in this month, in this year, what happened when you were being harassed by the Loving Way Pentecostals? And so we had to remember. So we had to know, practically like our diary, our affidavit diary, to present to the court. So that was going on, and that was a lot to endure. And the only way to get through that was just, okay, Prabhupada, constantly praying, just help me to be your mouthpiece here. And then at one point I just said to the judge and to the court, I just want to distribute my spiritual master's books, and we have a right to do this. And there was a big hush in the court. So it was a big success, and for constitutional lawyers and students of constitutional law and people of activists and human rights, this was like a big local success, but it was a lot to endure. And really, seriously, I would never have gone through anything like that without the strength that came from Srila Prabhupada's instructions and his enthusiasm for book distribution, and for him giving us the knowledge of how people are suffering so much, and that if they just get a little connection with this Sankirtan mission, then it can change the whole trajectory of their existence. So something like that is so significant. And we just felt like, yeah, we can go through this. You know, it was like beatings, not like what Haridas Thakur went through, but it was this constant, when we were going through the harassment phase, constant like emotional, verbal, and sometimes a bit physical beatings of these people. And trying, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them in their hearts felt like they were sincere, that we were of the devil and they were going to get rid of us or something. So, but you could just see that, okay, this is all going on, but it's only temporary, because Prabhupada said when, when our movement is like authentic and presented authentically, then there's going to be this backlash, right? There's going to be a backlash, and that just shows the authenticity of it all. So we're thinking, okay, we can go through it because Prabhupada, he's authorized, Krishna's authorized, our books are authorized, and in fact, at one point, at the Denver airport, they were starting to get rid of different groups. There were some different groups that were also out there distributing. And one reason why we were allowed to stay there at that time was because of Prabhupada's books. And I heard this from an airport staff member who had been involved in the meetings. And they told me, they said, it was said in this meeting that because your books are something of worth, that this is a good thing. Other groups were out there, passing out lapel pins of Daffy Duck and Donald Duck and things like that. And so they said, but these Hare Krishnas, they're distributing these books, they have great merit. Well, they, in their own words, they were saying there's some merit there. And of course, another reason why they allowed us to stay too was because for years we've been giving them Mahaprasadam. As many people who work there as possible, we were giving Mahaprasad. So that's going to help you endure, a lot of problems in pushing on Krishna consciousness, is the strength you get from knowing that prasadam is a secret weapon, you know. keep distributing prasadam. Also, that the holy names, like Prabhupada said, the holy names will be circulating the planet and changing the consciousness of the souls. So that will give you the inner strength that we have to keep up. This Harinam Sankirtan, despite all the problems and harassment we go through. I mean, some of it was, life-threatening. And then, you're able to endure all the criticisms. We were greatly criticized, and devotees were being kidnapped, and about that in the 70s with these kidnapping incidences because they said that we were brainwashing people. So we had to endure that. But what was the inner strength? Prabhupada's conviction. And Prabhupada said, like he said in the New York court case, have the judge read the books. This is our strength. This is what we have to show how authorized we are. They don't see it through much else, but in our books they can actually read and see. So, and that did happen in that court case. So that's what got us through a lot of battles. We had battles with airport workers, and they at one time they used to come up with clickers and make so much noise with these hand clickers that would make a mechanical sound that nobody that you were talking to could hear what you were saying. You'd be surrounded by all these airport workers who were inimical, and they were making these clicker sounds. People would just walk away from you because they couldn't hear anything and they felt intimidated. So, so to endure being hated, like Prabhupada said at first, they'll ignore us at first. But then we were going through a stage where they were abhorring us. A lot of people were really hating us. And of course, later stage, they would adore us. So, so that's coming more. I mean, a lot more people adore us. But going through the hate stage was a lot to endure. It was a problem because unless your mind was fixed on Prabhupada's instructions and you had that inner strength from him, his blessings, then you would think, oh my God, these people are telling the truth. Really, what they have to say has some merit. So to be able to, not let your mind be affected, to have the strength of the authenticity of everything that we're doing, to have the strength that this is real. Krishna is real. He's with us. And we were feeling Prabhupada's real. Even when he left the planet, that was a lot to endure. But because we knew Prabhupada is real, his mission is the reality. It's the supreme reality. We can go on. Even Prabhupada left the planet. And, people are hating us and they're kidnapping devotees and so many things. But because we understood, like Prabhupada said, I always felt like my Guru Maharaj is right with me, He's right with me. He's at my side. So we had to really, really beg Prabhupada, please, help us to understand that and feel your presence, that you're always with us. And that would happen. It was like a special mercy when you're out, especially on what they call the front lines, and you're in the range of fire, so to speak, that you felt this presence of Prabhupada. He's with us. Even when some of us, were physically attacked on book distribution and punched and beaten and, injured and things like that. And people coming by and slamming their suitcases, and knocking you over and, doing all they could to actually physically hurt you or emotionally hurt you. They would verbally abuse us and things like that. So, how to endure such a situation? Well, Prabhupada's at our side. He's with us. And especially like whatever service we're doing, it can be any service. We just have the conviction that, our deities and our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada are with us. We just have to always be open to that. And that will help us to execute our services in such a way that we're very enlivened because it's a Sankirtan movement. So every single service is meant for being in Sankirtan consciousness. So we have a lot we have to go through and endure. We may not be out in the midst of the public who are banging on our heads, but we might have emotional things going on at the temple where, this person said this to me and it's banging in my mind. So we have to endure these things with the understanding that Prabhupada's given me his Vani, his words are in my heart. Nobody can take that away. They can try to, physically and verbally abuse us or whatever, but nobody can take that away. It's in the consciousness. It's part of it's me. It's you. It's who we are, and nobody can take away your essence, right? So this is what I was looking for in my whole life. What is this essence? And then I see now nobody can touch it. Just like Krishna says about the soul, you can't burn it, you can't dry it, wither it away. It's like it's your essence. Nobody can interfere with that. But we do have a choice, a choice of cultivating that essence or not. So when we're cultivating that essence, then nobody can take that away. And you'll always have the inner strength you need to deal with anything that comes up at any time. And we know it's the mercy of my guru, it's the mercy of the devotees. It's Radha Govinda's mercy that I'm able to have any kind of strength or any kind of understanding, any kind of um, feelings of compassion. It's just their blessings. And I know that I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, but all of this is coming as blessings. It's all, from Krishna. Everything's from Krishna, delivered, by grace of the Guru. And I just have to be grateful for it, right? So with the feeling of gratitude and tolerance, um, comfort in the compassion and mercy of the Guru at our side, then we really have the strength necessary to go through what comes. And we won't be afraid of the future. We won't be afraid of difficulties, or we won't be fearful, oh, what's going to happen, Like Prabhupada would say, the cities will collapse and or there would be war or whatever, and devotees will say, well, how are we going to distribute books, or what will we do, Prabhupada? And he said, we chant Hare Krishna. So we have to take that mood and keep it in our hearts, and that way Prabhupada will be so happy because devotees will have strength to go on and meet whatever's to be presented before us as we go and pioneer this golden age of Krishna consciousness. We will have to have that strength to face the ecstasies and then also the problems and the mass um, suffering that is going on and will go on, and then how to be the instruments in the midst of all of that. So, Radha Govinda Dasi,
Yes.
is there discussion or what are your plans?
We have another meeting coming up soon, so
Okay,
we can take the discussion for the next session.
okay, yeah,
And yeah, so maybe and the next time, maybe we can leave more time for discussions, questions.
okay,
I'm
sure.
sure they have several questions, but we are very fortunate to have you give us your regular Sangha. And I just want to give a little like a feedback or yeah, I felt this is exactly what we needed. Yesterday we started a new meeting. By the way, just a small clarification. This is not the Vaishnavi ministry. This is like my group. Like we do
Uh-huh.
like sub sangha like that. And we
Mm-hmm.
started something like yesterday called Anartha Nivriti in Action.
Oh, wow.
And, and today we started speaking exactly about how to build inner strength. I was sharing certain verses that I was taught by my grandmother from childhood, especially for women, about inner strength. And your class was just like a perfect remedy, like the way you presented about Krishna's loving, curing hands, and the way you inspired us to go, listen to that calling, that spiritual calling, to prioritize Krishna. And the way you gave your personal example is really something we needed, because there is so much philosophy, theology that really goes above our heads. But when you share about what you went through and how you applied those principles, it was really like heart touching. It was really exactly the medicine we needed in this time that we are. So we really, really appreciate it. And maybe just quickly, we can have a couple of more devotees to share a little bit of feedback. And before we conclude, anybody likes to give a feedback? Please go ahead.
This was really a very instrumental, very heart-touching class, Mataji. So many points that you give us, to build this inner strength and to endure. And I mean, I really love the point where you're saying that we should take it as a blessing, and see it that this devotee or this person or this obstacle wants me to get rid of this disease, this material disease. That's very I'm at my stage, I'm not there to fully understand that, but the way you presented it is really, really amazing. Thank you so much, and looking forward to more of classes and sessions with you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Also looking forward. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we have somebody typing in the chat box. Oh, we have three devotees. So this first one is from Parijata. Thank you so much, Mother Nidra, for your association. Thank you. And then we have Vilas Manjari. She says, my obeisances, glories to Prabhupada. I'm grateful to witness another example of those who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master. Are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed? It was very faith instilling to hear you. My conviction is strengthened. Thank you for taking your time and giving your association. This is Vilasam Manjari. And
Thank you.
we have Kulavati Krishnapriya. Thank you so much, Mataji. You shared so many beautiful pointers to endure. Blessed to have your association. Jai Haribo.
Thank you. Thank you.
So much. Please accept our obeisances.
Bye. Panchakopati Vishta, Visangi Vijapati Tanam Bhavani Vaishnavi. Thank you, Radhagovinda Dasi, and your very special group. Feel honored and privileged to be part.
Devotees are really very happy. We have another one. Ashka is saying it's over. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. So we have a lot of appreciation for you. Thank you so much. Looking
Thank
forward.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare